Hi, I'm Matt Lefevers. I'm a audio engineer, guitar player, and worship leader here in Phoenix, Arizona. These yearly worship pedalboard walkthroughs have become something of an institution on this channel. So I thought I would do one this year, even though it's not terribly different. Interestingly, the name of the game this year has kind of been simplifying a little bit. There was a while there where I had like 2 delays and 2 reverbs and a couple of different modulation pedals. Earlier this year, I kind of just wanted to see if I could get rid of a lot of that redundancy and get it down to where it was still flexible and still had everything that I wanted on it, but it was a little bit less overcrowded. So it's the same board. It's still a PT2, but instead of having stuff wedged in sideways and behind other stuff and chords all weird, it's kind of cleaner and more straightforward than it used to be. So that's kind of the big change this time around. There are a few new things. I'll just go through it real quick. Diamond Comp is still here up front. I'm never planning to get rid of that pedal, and if I ever was planning to get rid of it, I never will now because they seem to be out of production. So that has become one of my most treasured possessions. It's my favorite compressor. It's just adding some fullness and leveling my sound in a way that like I can pick softly and it'll still be audible. There's something about it, it just makes it sound more like a finished record or something. It polishes your guitar sound really nicely. After that's the tuner, still the same. I still have my secret noise gate underneath the board, muting me when I'm not playing to take out some of that P90 pickup noise. And then the first new thing on here is the Digitech Drop, which I did a separate video about a while back when I was first playing around with what I called reverse capoing. It's not down tuning a lot. I'm not trying to go into like 7-string metal territory or anything usually, but sometimes you get a song that's in like F sharp or D flat or something, and it would just be a lot more satisfying to play if you could play it using open chord shapes and ringing out notes. And I always am bummed out having to switch to bar chords or something and play certain keys. Usually if I just want to drop like a half step or something is what I'm using it for. If a song is played in like D flat instead of doing this, I can retain my chord shapes that I want and like I just don't really like playing in certain keys. I really like open ringing notes and stuff when I can have them. So that's what the Drop is there for. And then the Micropog is back. That was my first octave pedal. And I'm sure if you went back and looked at the old iterations of this video, it's in most of them. And then it was a classic case of just like gear acquisition syndrome, making you lose your mind. I've never not liked the Micropog. It was not making me unhappy in any way, but I got it into my head maybe something else was better. And so I sold it, and then I went through a series of like 5 other octave pedals. And then I deeply regretted selling the Micropog, and I almost never rebuy pedals that I've already had before. I try to keep exploring new things rather than like circle back, but I just missed it so badly that a friend of mine was selling his, and I was just like, yeah, give it to me. I'll take it. So it's back. I should have never got rid of it. I won't get rid of it again. It's just the best octave pedal as far as I'm concerned. The same thing I've always used it for. It's to add like some higher octave to like simple lead lines and stuff. So love that thing. It's so good. Another new old pedal on here is the DOD Ice Box. My first pedal I ever had, and I did a whole separate video about this, but my wife tracked it down for me for like nostalgia reasons, and I thought it would be fun to look at it and play with it for a minute and then just like keep it as a keepsake. And then I liked it more than any other chorus pedal that I've had, so it's here on the board again. I like having a chorus on here. You'll notice the tremolo is gone. If you watched last year's video, I've fully just simplified down to chorus being the only modulation that I need, which is a big switch from some of my old boards that had source audio multi-modulation, and I had flangers and phasers and choruses and tremolos set up, and finally just decided having like a simple chorus is enough and decided to stick with that. So next up are my drives. The Timmy is always on. I consider it just a part of my like clean tone. I have the gain mostly rolled off on it, so it's basically clean. But if I actually turn it off, you can see like I like my clean tone to have a little bit of grit to it. And the other thing I like is that if I dig in more, I can actually get it to overdrive. So if I play soft, it's my clean pedal. But then if I takes me from clean to like slightly distorted. And then when I need to go further than that, I'm stacking it into the Mojo Hand Rook, my favorite overdrive ever. It's so great. The Rook sounds great on its own too, and it sounds great in a bunch of different configurations. But what I'm doing with it most right now is kind of a mid-gain, like rhythm tone. So if I was playing clean like this and I just wanted to kick it up a notch, I love it for that. It's kind of a tube screamer based pedal, so it's giving me some of that mid-range beef that I want, but unlike every other tube screamer I've ever used, I'm not losing all of my highs and lows also. It's really great. I love this pedal. And I'm going to skip ahead a couple. The real like third stage that I have is this Archer, which I am not using for any gain whatsoever. It's just like a volume boost for solos. It's great because it does make me louder and I can kind of hop above the band for a minute, but there's also something that these like clon style overdrives add where it's like mid-range in a different place than I already have it. It makes it sound better too. It's like really juicy and like liquid and other audio words that are strange, but I love how it sounds even apart from the volume boost, which is why I'm not just using like a MXR micro amp or something. If I'm playing rhythm and then I just need to jump up for like a lead part for a minute, that's always what I kick on. And it sounds like this. And then I skipped over, this is a volume pedal. It's been here for a while. Nothing really to say about it. It's just when I need to do swells and stuff. And then the Rat is back on my board. I've had that thing for a long time, and when I moved, it ended up in storage, and I was really sad about it. It's back. I got it back. We're in the new studio, so I have all my stuff again. So I put it back on. It's not something that I use terribly often. It could cover similar ground to the Rook. It can be kind of a good rhythm, like bridge pickup drive. That's the Rook. But really what I'm using it for most often right now is it's a delightful like chaos box. If you turn the distortion up really high so it becomes kind of a fuzz, truly just wools out and gets very strange. So what I'm using it for is especially songs that go to like a drum break and the guitars are just sort of feeding back or like doing whatever in the background. I'll kick that on and then some delay or something. And then, you know, if this is my default sound, and then I need to stop playing for a minute, I can. And it gets so fuzzy and strange, and you barely need to touch the neck to make like notes appear, and it's fun for that. I use it for that on big drum breaks on songs or parts where it's like just the bass is carrying things and I just want to kind of make noise in the background. It's not really, I don't consider it one of my drive stages. It's just sort of there. It's mainly on here because I missed it very badly and I'm just like excited to look at it right now. And then the place where things are really different from last year is how much I've simplified my delay and reverb setup. I had 2 delays on here. I had an El Capistan. It's so good. It's wonderful. There wasn't a need to have 2 delays when the Nemesis is so capable. So I ended up, the El Capistan's over on my acoustic board right now. I didn't get rid of it, but it doesn't need to be here. So I removed that one, and then I dialed in some tape sounds on the Nemesis that I like. So I don't know, push comes to shove, I don't know if the tape engine on the Nemesis is quite as good as the El Capistan, but it's good enough to not need a whole separate pedal doing tape right now. So the Nemesis is my sole delay at the moment. And then I have swapped out the Blue Sky for the Neunaber Immerse Mark II right now. I still love them both, but the Blue Sky is really good at like one thing, and then most of the other modes it has are obnoxious. I should mention the Blue Sky version 2 just came out like a month ago, and that fixes those problems, but that's not what I have. So the version 1, the modulation's pretty overpowering. The shimmer is very overpowering. So I only use the one mode, whereas the Immerse has like 7 or 8 modes and they're all good. So I decided that should be the one on my electric board where I'm using more complicated reverb stuff. And then the Blue Sky is hanging out over on my acoustic board where I don't really need anything special, just like a good sounding reverb. So this is usually on wet mode. Which is just such a good algorithm. The plate is also nice. And then the shimmer on here is actually not annoying. Hey, somebody did it. It's like lovely and kind of ghosty in the background and not just like an ice pick of octave weirdness to the side of your head. So I don't use it a lot, but I could now, and that's wonderful. The shimmer on the Blue Sky version 1 is so weird. I'm sorry. I love you, Strymon. I'm wearing your shirt, but it's so weird. I'm glad you fixed it on the version 2. So anyway, that's my reverb on here now. I love it so much. If you're interested in them at all, and you should be because Neunaber reverbs are amazing, the Mark II is absolutely the way to go. I have tried the Mark I and it can't get as wet. Like it seems like it gets up to like 60% and stops, whereas this can go full wet if you need it to. I vastly prefer the Mark II. And then that's really it for pedals. The Iridium here is my amp still. It's exactly the same settings that I dialed in the first afternoon that I got it and have never changed for any reason. It's like chime on cab A. I don't know. It sounds great, and I've never really been inclined to mess with it. I tried some third-party IRs. People get way into those, and I'm happy for them, I guess. But I tried them, and I liked the Cab A from Omen Hammer that it comes with more, so that's what I'm using. And then I did add a line isolator box, which, again, I have a separate video about this. But the Walrus canvas is off here on the side. Before I was using a radial DI, that's also fine, but I like this one a little bit more, and for reasons I get into in my other video. It's not mounted on the board because I use it for other things too, but it's worth kind of just keeping nearby. So that's really the Drop and the Ice Box are legitimately new. The Immerse is new. The Rat is old but is back. The Micropog is old but is back. So a lot of it's different, I guess, but a lot of it's me bringing back stuff I shouldn't have taken off the first time. And then otherwise it's just simplified from how I'd had it. Trying to have just the things that I need and not stuff wedged in every which way. So I'm really enjoying it. Honestly, if I change anything else, it may just be to simplify it more. It's kind of been a pleasant experience to have fewer things on here, but have them be really good. So that's the 2022 walkthrough, I guess. If anything's different next year, I'll make one of these again. So far, nearly every year, something has been different. I think I skipped it once. But yeah, thanks for watching and hope it was interesting or helpful. Hello. If you've been around the channel for a while, you might notice that I just changed the name of it after about 8 years of it just being my name. The reason for that is I've started a business called Lefevre's Audio. It's going to be recording, mixing, song production, session playing, anything in that area. Don't expect the focus of this channel to change at all. It's still going to be, guitar pedals, gear demos, music production stuff, guitar walkthroughs, the things I normally do around here. But because of the business, I'm trying to standardize my handles all across the internet. So that's what that's about. While I'm talking about it, if you're in the Phoenix area and you need any recording done on music or a podcast or anything like that, hit me up. If you're not local, but you want anything mixed, session playing done, a song produced for a channel or a podcast or something that you're doing, anything that I can do remotely, feel free to hit me up on that too if you're not nearby. So the website's lefevresaudio.com. It'll be linked around here. Otherwise, don't expect any big changes to the channel, but that's what's up with the name update. Thanks for watching.